What's happening, guys? This is episode 17, based in reality. I'm Mike J, of course. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel and like and share the videos. It helps a lot. A little bit of bad news. So the 22nd was the day that I had to bring back the cats. I had fostered them for about a month and a half, and yeah, I had to bring them back. So they're not going to be featured in the videos. Now, two of them will be. I'm gonna keep two of them. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep all four. I have two dogs, two kids already, and four cats would just be adding way too much. So we decided on keeping the two girl cats. That's Princess and Dora. So they'll be in some of the videos. Anyways, let's get right into it. I was driving today, and I had heard two separate things on different stations that both disturbed me in different ways. I mean, similar ways. First one, there was some people from Windsor, my city, talking about how there's U.S. elections, like propaganda signs. They didn't say propaganda, but that's exactly what it is. On our buildings and bus stops and buses here in Windsor. Now, the explanation from this girl that I heard was a lot of people from Michigan live in Windsor. Excuse me? A lot of people from Michigan live in Windsor, and they vote in the U.S. election. And in 2016, a lot of Michigan people voted for Donald Trump, and we can't let that happen again, she says. Now, like, they don't realize what they're saying. The people wanted to vote for Donald Trump. That's what happened. Now, you advertising in Windsor for this is very obvious propaganda because the people wanted Donald Trump. That's why they voted for him. You putting Joe Biden's stupid senile face on signs over here isn't going to change that. If anything, it's going to sway more people to vote for Donald Trump because they're going to look at Joe Biden and see what we see, which is emptiness behind his weird eyes. The guy is gone. Kamala Harris has said, the Harris administration, we all heard it. Why is this okay? Sure, if you want to make a podcast or a show, but you're literally putting things up in Canada about an election in another country. How weird is that? Talking about it is one thing, but like throwing it in people's faces on buses? Like, think about that. If somebody decided to put a Donald Trump ad on a bus, you know how fast it would be taken down, first off. It wouldn't even get cleared. So it's clear that there's an agenda there. Obviously. There's no way anything Trump would have been passed to go on our stuff. And just the way she worded it was so disgusting. A lot of people voted for Donald Trump in 2016, and we can't let that happen again. It's the exact same thing as what happened with Google. They said almost word for word the same thing. We're not going to let the Donald Trump situation happen again. The people want him. The more you push this shit and ruin people's lives and propagandize everything, the more you're pushing them into the arms of Trump. Trump, as much as you don't like him, he exposed so much in 2016, especially this kind of shit with Silicon Valley. Specifically saying that they can't let a democratically elected president sit They need to sway it a different way. They're so worried. I mean, they're not even worried about Russia. It's just a talking point for them. They know that the biggest threat to their democracy is right here from the inside. Silicon Valley is the biggest enemy of the democracy that they talk about. But because it's in favor of them, they have no problem with it. They know that the swaying comes from one side and where it's coming from. Sure, there's probably people meddling in elections all over the world. But to act like that was the sole reason that Trump was elected, he was elected because people are sick of this shit. Donald Trump, honestly, even his detractors can at least say that he broke down the whole worship all the celebrities, worship CNN, make sure that MSNBC has the say of the news. Like for years, right wingers watched Fox News and they hated MSNBC. But Trump exposed it all as being the propaganda that it is. He exposed Hollywood. Look at how much has come out against these Hollywood people in the last 4 years. All of their shady dealings, all of their creepy shit that they've been up to. And like I said, whether you hate him or not, he broke down this political sphere that was there where it's like you have to talk like this, you have to act like this. People said, I don't want to hear Obama talk nice and send out lies and do nothing for anyone. He did nothing of value, Barack Obama. He did nothing but be black. And that's all people cared about. They still do. That's why Harris is in this race with Biden. All they care about is black. They just want to see a black person. That's all they care about. Now, the second thing that I heard today was Charlamagne, the 5'2" lispy little midget with his fucking eyebrows done. Hear a story from one of his other co-hosts. I don't even listen to these channels. I had heard it Louisville, Kentucky as I was going through, and I was like, oh, okay, so they're going to be talking about the police officers. And his co-host tells him, 2 were shot and blah, blah. His response was, yeah, well, they're lucky that it wasn't more. What did they expect? This is going to keep happening. What do you expect? People are mad. Excuse me. Could you imagine something similar happening on anybody that's right wing? They would be fired immediately. If a right winger was on a radio station that's in multiple markets and they said, George Floyd, what did you expect? Fucking around with the cops and resisting arrest. What do you expect? While that is a more legit statement than what did everybody expect about these cops getting shot? Well, George Floyd should have expected to get roughed up by police if you're resisting arrest. That what you expect with Breonna Taylor's boyfriend shooting at police? What do you expect if you go at a police officer with a knife? What do you expect if you are getting checked out by the police because of a domestic violence dispute, and you try to grab a knife out of the car and go at them? What do you expect? Then we're the problem if we say that. Now we all think it. We know that there's a Black Lives Matter body count going right now. If you try to Google how many people have been killed because of Black Lives Matter, it's buried. I tried it. There's no point in trying because you'll never get a specific number. But saying, what do you expect when you're a career criminal and you resist arrest, you try to shoot a taser at a police officer, and you're drunk in your car? You should expect what happens to you. That's a problem. But what do you expect about police officers getting shot? They weren't doing anything. They were just near these protests. They're not protests anymore, nor were they from the beginning. They've been rioting. This whole peaceful protest narrative, anybody with a brain knows that that's been out the window. From the second George Floyd died, most likely because of an overdose, not because of being kneeled on. The city that it happened in has been up in flames, along with all kinds of other cities in the United States, some in Canada. Not many, but some. But these protests have been everywhere. Now, Windsor's Windsor, so, there wasn't any rioting or looting yet. But the protests against these police officers that were doing their job have been everywhere. We know George Floyd was a piece of shit. We know Jacob Blake was a piece of shit. We know Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend were pieces of shit. We know the guy in Atlanta was a piece of shit. But too many people are afraid to say that because of the fear of being attacked for stating the truth. But if you want to say anything you want about whites or cops, it's open season. It's open season to kill these people. It's not open season to defend yourself against these people. And the fact that this radio DJ, 5'2" scumbag, gets away with that is just so telling of where everything is right now. The guy that owned a cheese company got in trouble and had to apologize for saying bad things about Black Lives Matter. Everybody knows that it's a shitty organization, but they know what they can get away with if they support them. That's why they're doing it. Did you not notice that these companies only started getting into the Black Lives Matter bullshit and donating all this money after shit started getting on fire? The Walmart CEO probably said, well, if we give them $500,000 or however much they gave them, maybe they'll spare us. But you know what? Ultimately, they won't spare anybody. They've proved that time and time again. They've killed so many animals that were trapped in buildings. They've killed so many innocent people. And if you try to say Well, the police killed so many innocent black people. No, they didn't. Maybe it's happened in the past, but every single one of these big stories, these BLM people defending these piece of shit criminals, none of these justify what has happened to the United States in response to it. And these police are going to be militarized soon. I know the Oregon, I don't know if it's just Portland, but the Oregon police have been deputized. They're going to be like, they're going to have federal power, state power, because the mayors just don't know how to lead. It really sucks too, because there's so many beautiful cities that are just never coming back from this. All blue, all Democrat. These cities have been Democrat run for decades, and look where they're at. No correlation. I know correlation doesn't mean causation, as they say, but it's not a coincidence. It's very much so because of the running of these cities. And anybody that thinks that police are inherently racist, okay, so black people inherently hate whites. You want to generalize? Generalize. Black people that are involved in Black Lives Matter, because it's not all. There's a lot of great blacks out there. But anybody that supports this shit is inherently against police officers from birth, no matter what. They generalize more than any police officer does. Proof is out there. Look. Why isn't it people like Candace Owens getting arrested? Why isn't it people like Tommy Sotomayor getting arrested? It's always these people that think that everybody's out to get them. And the thing is, there's money in it. There's fame in it. So why not, right? Let me know what you think, guys. Shoot me a comment. Is this going to change? Do you think Trump is going to militarize these police? Or at least deputize most police officers? Let's see.